All right, first thing is to read it. Figure out what information in here is important information. So it says, if the measure of angle A is 120 degrees. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to label it because that's important. It's telling me that this measure is 120 degrees. What is the measure of angle B?
60.
Looking at it. This is a straight line. If I know 120, what should angle B be?
60.
Good. Angle B is 60 degrees. All you have to do is subtract it from 180 and you should get it. The next thing that it's saying, it's if the measure of angle D is 40 degrees. Let me get the highlighter. And I'm going to label it. This is 40 degrees right here. What is the measure of angle E? How would I figure that out? Good. I'm going to subtract it from 180. So I'm doing 180 minus 40 equals what? Good. This is going to be 140 degrees. And then, important question that they're asking, if the sum of measure B, C, and D is 180, what is the measure of angle C? So I'm going to draw it. Here's my triangle. I have 60 degrees. I have 40 degrees. This entire triangle equals 180. How would I figure out C?
180 minus 100.
60 and 40 and then subtract from 180.
Good. So 60 plus 40, it's going to give me 100. And then I'm going to take that 100 and subtract it from 180. And what would that equal?
80.
This is going to be 80 degrees. Any questions on the warm-up?
That was so easy.
That's easy.
Was that like last lesson?
No. Guys, you have to try. Like, that's the only way how you're going to understand and pass geometry is if you try it yourself.
Wouldn't
Any questions before we go to the next one? Yes.
Can you send me?
Shh, Mia. Mackenzie, what was that? Because C is what's missing. We already have angle B. We solved angle B right here. And we solved for angle D. We need to figure out angle C. They're telling me this entire thing equals 180. So 60 right here, because we got that from the first question. 40 right here, because they gave that to us. This was what was missing, but everything equals 180, so I needed to add it and subtract it from 180 to get me the corner that's missing, the angle that's missing. Okay. All right, we are starting chapter 5, section 1. For your upcoming test, it's covering what we did last, which was transformations, and 5.1 and 5.2, that's it. Okay, you guys will get your quizzes back, so you could use it to study if you needed to study. So, starting on 5.1, triangles. We need to know information about triangles. A triangle has 3 segments joining 3 non-collinear points. What does non-collinear points mean? Good. Not on the same. Linear is line. Okay, 3 points on different lines. So looking at it, it says point where the segments meet. That is called a vertex. Okay. Points where my lines meet. So all of these corners, little meeting points right here are my vertex. And for plural vertex isn't vertexes, it's vertices. Okay. So looking at this image, segments equals, so what are my segments? I have triangle A, B, C right here. My vertices are A, B, C. We should know how to name our sides. Keep in mind they are segments. They're not continuing lines. And then we should already know how to name our angles. So this is information that we already know. It's just kind of reviewing it for you. So we should all know what those information is. All right, classifications by sides. So we have heard these words before, whether it's in middle school or last year, we probably forgot it. But if it's a triangle with sides that do not have the same sides, they're all different. If you look at the bottom, this is called a scaling triangle. Okay, so none of my sides are the same measure. If I have a triangle where two of my sides are the same measure, this is called an isosceles triangle. And then if I have a triangle with all the same sides, this is called an equilateral triangle. So we have all heard these before. Do you have any questions on the triangles? All right, the next slide is even easier. A triangle, what is my angles called when they're less than 90 degrees? What's my triangle called? What's my classification? Good, this is my acute triangle. It's so tiny, it's so acute. I have an angle that's larger than 90 degrees. Good, obtuse. I have one angle that is 90 degrees. Good, this is a right triangle. And then all angles are equal. Equiangular. Equiangular. Okay, that's my equiangular triangle. So we've all heard these before. These are words that we should already know. It shouldn't be anything that we're learning that's new. So we should all know this. They've probably mentioned it before, but you probably just, no? Equiangular, we've never heard, okay. Maybe I've just heard it so many times that I feel like you guys should have heard it. All right, looking at the next one. Triangles have a sum. Any triangle you have, whether it's an equiangular, an isosceles, a scalene triangle, the inside measure of my triangle has to be how many degrees? Does anybody know? Kind of tells you there. Good, it has to be 180 degrees. The sum of the measures of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. It has to be. If you're getting a triangle where the inside is more than 180, then you probably did something wrong. If it's less than 180, then you have to again go back and check your work. It has to be 180 degrees no matter what. So please remember that. That's only for a triangle. Only for a triangle. If it is a square or a pentagon, the measure on the inside is going to be different. And there is a formula for that. All right, looking at the next one, exterior angle theorem. Okay, we're getting into theorems. You have to know your theorems. The measure of an exterior angle of a triangle equals the sum of the measure of the two remote, which is non-adjacent, interior angles. And I'm going to explain what that means. Okay, non-adjacent. What does adjacent mean?
I think I forgot.
Okay, so you need to think of it as adjacent was next to, so sides that are not next to each other. So I'm going to give you an example. If I have this triangle, the sum of the interior angles equals the outside angle. So let's say this was 100 degrees. That means this side could be 60 degrees and this side can be 40 degrees. I'm adding my two interior angles. Okay, so the sum of the interior angles equals the outside angle. Does everybody see that? Where I have 40 plus 60, it's going to equal the measurement on the outside if I add these two. That's what this means. So again, this is the exterior angle theorem. Your two interior angles are going to equal your outside angle. So anytime they give you something like this, you have to remember that because you will see a question like this. Any questions on this one?
Wait, this one don't move. Why? Where are you getting this for 40?
I'm just showing you an example that the two interior angles have to equal the outside angle.
Can you scroll up one side? Why is it 100 and not 40?
All right, just giving you, because remember, that's only one angle. That 100 is just for right here. Okay, really quick, let me show you another thing. If they give you this angle is 80 degrees, then I know this is a straight line, which it is a straight line. So always remember, it's the two opposite angles, not the one right next to it. So if it's asking what's the measurement of the exterior angle, you should be able to find it with this corner measurement or these two measurements. Okay, so you could find it either way. All right. Corollary, a corollary to a theorem. A statement that can be proved easily using the theorem. So looking at this theorem, the acute angles of a right triangle are complementary. What does that mean? Good, complementary. And how do I know they're complementary angles? What does the inside of my triangle have to equal? Inside of my triangle has to equal 180. And if they're already giving me a 90-degree angle, I know the other two measurements have to be 90 degrees. Looking at this example, it says state whether the triangle with two angles have the given measure is acute, right, or obtuse.
What was this?
What you have to do is, what's the measurement of a triangle? What does it have to equal? What does the measurement of a triangle have to equal?
For acute?
180. The inside has to equal 180. So I need to figure out, say whether a triangle with the two angles have a, okay, we're just using these two angles. Remember, if it's a right triangle, it has to have what measurement for an angle?
90 degrees.
90 degrees. So I have to figure out if there's a triangle in here that has 90 degrees, then I'm going to state it's right. If it's acute, it has what?
Less than 90.
Less than 90. And then if it's obtuse,
More than 90.
has to have an angle that's more than 90 degrees. So for this, I would figure out the third measurement. So for example, I have 55 plus 43 plus, I don't know, equals 180. How am I going to figure out my third angle? Okay, I'm going to add them and then subtract from 180. So it's 55 plus 43. 98. Oh, 98 minus 180. What am I going to get? 82? Not. All right, so looking at it, I have 55, 43, and 82. What kind of triangle is this? Is it a right triangle? No.
It's acute.
It's an acute triangle?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Or an obtuse triangle?
Acute.
It's acute. This would be an acute triangle. So go ahead and do the rest. As soon as you see 90 degrees, we know it's a right triangle. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do B right here just so I have more space. What are my measurements? 47, 43, and what should the other one be? What's the third measurement for this angle? 90? So what kind of triangle is this? This is a right. Okay, as soon as you see that 90-degree angle, you know it's a right. All right, looking at the next one, C. I have 80, 75, and what? What would the next angle be? 25? What kind of triangle is this? It's an acute. All of them are smaller than 90 degrees. For D, I have 30, 30, 33, 33, and what?
114.
What was it, 115? 114. And what's this one going to be? Obtuse. And just going over how we're finding these again, we have 24 plus 66 plus the missing angle equals 180. So it's 24 plus 66. Good, I'm going to get 180 minus 90, and what should that equal? Good. So if this is a 90-degree angle, what kind of triangle is this? A right. Does anybody have any questions on this? How to find if it's a right, obtuse, or an acute using two angles?
Is this like the lesson or is this like a one over?
Oh, this is a lesson.
Bro?
Mm-hmm. All right, going to the next example. Find the measure of angle A. When you're looking at B, you need to know that these little curved angles mean they're congruent. So they're going to be the same measurement. These are the same measurement. And we already know information about vertical angles. What do we know about vertical angles? They're what?
Same measure.
They're the same measure. So they want me to find the measure of angle A. I can't just guess this measurement right here. I need to figure this measurement out. How would I figure out this measurement? Can someone tell me?
Add the 80 and the 50 and subtract by 180.
Good. I'm going to add these two. And what's 50 plus 80?
130.
Well, I'm looking at it sideways. So it may look like a multiplication sign. So I guess we'll just, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So what's 50 plus 80?
130.
I'm going to get 130. And what do I need to do with that 130?
Subtract it.
Find
with
it
180.
by, wait, what?
Subtract from 180 because everything in here equals 180. So that's 80 plus 50 plus this.
You have to do it twice?
Yeah. This equals 180. So what's that measurement equal? What's 80 minus, I'm sorry, what's 50? No, why am I writing that? What's 180 minus 30?
50.
Good. So that means this angle measurement right here, I'm going to erase this. This is 50 degrees. What do I know about my vertical angle?
The other side's 50.
The other side is also 50 degrees. So what should the measure of angle A be?
80.
80 degrees. All right, looking at B. They want me to find the measure of angle A. So these are honestly pretty easy. They will not be this easy, but it's a concept that you know once you understand it, you should be able to find it. Go ahead and do on your own B and A.
Is that a right angle sign?
No, they're curves. They're not right angles, they're little curves. They're congruency marks. All right, looking at B, who could tell me what is the measure of angle A?
60.
All right, these are pretty easy. 60 degrees. What about the measure of angle A for C?
110.
110, okay? So they're saying if these two measurements right here are equal, and they're already giving me that 40, I know that this measurement is going to be 60. And same thing on this one, if they're telling me that these are equal, and they're already giving me that 30 degrees, then I know that this is going to be, oh, I put 100, it should be 110. Let me erase it and change it. 110. Okay, next. It says find the measure of angle A. I need to find the measure of angle A. Can anybody tell me how I would do this?
Subtract 80 and 120.
Good. So remember, we covered these two interior angle measurements. Added together. Let me get a pencil. Added together are going to equal my exterior angle measurement. So for me to solve this, I'm taking 120 minus 80. And what would that be?
You don't add them?
No, because it would be 80 plus x, which I don't know, equals 120. Okay, so I'm adding them here, which is right here, to equal this
How do you
measurement.
know, like, when to, like, do one and then do this?
So basically I'm solving for x. So if I were to erase this, I would solve it, subtract 80, and what would I get for x?
About 40.
And this measurement would be 40. They're not asking me to find this angle right here. They're just asking me to find angle A. All right, go ahead and do letter E. Go ahead and do letter E. Label and then find what you're missing.
Jeez.
Keep in mind when they're saying the measure of angle FEH, it's the measure of this angle right here.
Why does it say 3?
3 times the measure of angle F. So information that you need to write down. Read it and think about it before you guys say what or I don't get this.
This little guy.
Read it, think about it, label, figure out information you need, and then try and solve it. I'll give you a couple minutes. All right, let's go ahead and answer this question. It says the measure, or in triangle EFG. So EFG, they're talking about this triangle. The measure of angle G, so they're telling me G equals 100 degrees. The measure of angle, keep in mind how they're writing this. The measure of angle FEH. So look at where I'm going. FEH, FEH. That means this measure right here. They're telling me that that measurement is 3 times the measure of angle F. They want me to find the measure of angle F. So I need to solve this. How would I set this up?
100.
You could just represent angle F as X. Okay, so I'm going to erase these little question marks. And the measure of angle F, I'm representing as X. So I will put that in red. All right, how would I solve this? How would I set this up?
100
Okay,
plus X
100 plus X.
plus 3X
Not plus,
Oh, wait.
remember.
plus E.
It's not plus E, it's not plus E.
Well,
100
trying
plus
to get
X,
180.
what else? Remember, I'm not trying to get 180. These two measures right here added together are going to equal this outside measure. So how would I set it up? We have 100 plus X
Equals 3X.
equals 3X. Now I'm solving for X. How would I solve for X? Okay, I need to subtract X. I'm going to get what? 100 equals 2X. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And X is going to equal?
50.
Good. So they want to find the measure of angle F. The measure of angle F equals 50 degrees. So let's check it. Okay, I'm going to draw my triangle over here. Let's see, drawing it as best as I can. Let's check. If this was 100 and this was 50, and this measurement is 3 times 50. What's 3 times 50?
150.
Is this 150 if I add these two? If I add these two, I'm going to get 150. And is this angle 150? Yes. So it's 50 degrees. Does everybody understand me checking my work?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, the two inside angles equal the outside angle. So by me checking my work, 50 is going to be my answer. Questions on this?
I don't get it.
All right, I'm going to go over it again. This is me check.
Will we go over this again?
Do we start this?
Yes, please go ahead and submit the notes if you're done. I'm going to explain it again. So first I read the word problem, and you have to already know in order to solve this that these two measurements are going to equal my outside measurement. Once you know that, you should be able to solve it.
Do we commit?
Yes, once you're done, go ahead and submit it, please.
But don't we have to add the other one?